everyone, and welcome to another victory episode of the Kennel, Cleveland Football Podcast, episode 127. Stevie James Giantrada. The Browns are 4-1. Say it.
The Browns are 4-1.
The Cleveland Football Browns are 4-1. Anytime someone has mentioned the Browns between the game and now, I've stopped them and go, no, not the Browns. The 4-1.
The 4-1 Browns.
Cleveland Football
Extremely
Browns.
important.
Extremely important.
Extremely important.
So you're tuned into the Kennel. Make sure you subscribe, like, rate 5 stars,
Follow
many things.
us on the podcast, the Twitters, and the YouTubes, and the Facebooks.
At Football Kennel. Most importantly, if you're on YouTube, make sure you subscribe, hit the notification bell. That helps us a lot. And the best way you can support the show is just sharing it with some friends. We do this completely for free. We don't run any ads on you yet. And just the number one thing you can do is interact with the show, share the show. We appreciate it a lot. But that's enough panhandling. I say we get right into the game review.
Let's do it.
Game review.
The Browns are 4-1. Say it.
4-1.
The Browns are 4-1.
Cleveland Football Browns.
The Browns went against the Colts at First Energy Stadium.
Number 1 defense in the NFL.
Yeah, against the number 1 rushing offense. And we won 4-1. The Colts go to 3-2. We won. Final score 32-23. Browns win, of course.
Browns win.
A beautiful game. Definitely closer than the final score looks.
We were pulling away there for a while, and then there was a bit of a momentum shift, which
Yep.
I'm sure we'll get into. But we did something that the Browns of old were never able to do, and that's win in the face of any kind of even tiny hint of adversity. Speaking of adversity, the pop filter's attacking you. How's this going to play out?
But anyways, yeah.
How will Gian
beating
respond
the
to
Colts,
adversity?
Yeah, I think you, I think you made a really good point. Last episode is this was a bigger test for the Colts than it was for the Browns, but it was still good for the Browns. For us to see the Browns overcome this type of adversity. Obviously, the 2 turnovers late in the game, the stalling offense, and really, I think it credit to the Colts for changing their game plan defensively and being able to keep us still. But the biggest credit, I think, goes to Kevin Stefanski and being able to adapt his game plan offensively to switch it up. And he really trusted in the pass early in the game to kind of set up the run late in the game. And then at the end of the game, after the momentum switched, we mentioned the 2 turnovers, we had a shift in mindset where they stuck to the run. They ran it 2, 3, 4 times nonstop, allowing us to kind of run the clock down, making the Colts use their final timeouts, and obviously ultimately giving us the win.
Yeah, it was a wild first half, and like you said, getting with the pass. So this is a game where we've obviously developed an identity as a run-first team. We're averaging over 200 yards a game coming into this, and we're facing a Colts defense that is number 1 against the pass, but also had the lowest yards per carry allowed average as far as the running game goes coming into this game. So that we knew it was going to be an unstoppable force meets an immovable object, or how'd you say it last week? Immovable force, unstoppable object.
I struggled, but yeah, you make a good point. I mean, and to the Colts' credit, defensively, they held the number 1 rushing defense, or I'm sorry, the number 1 rushing offense to 3.8 yards per carry.
Yeah, I really missed Chubb in this game. But what was insane is in this first half, we did what no one expected us to do, and we threw the ball with Baker Mayfield. In the first half, he had 21 attempts, completing 19 of them for 228 yards and 2 touchdowns, no interception. I'll say that was the best half of football I've ever seen Baker Mayfield play.
Arguably followed by one of the worst halves and his worst performance in the past 5 games.
All right, you're kind of raining on my parade here. I was still on the positive.
This is criticism that he pointed out in himself, which I think is good to see from Baker.
Well, that's kind of the story of this game. Baker Mayfield came out in the first half against, mind you, the number 1 pass defense in the NFL, and the Browns, Coach Stefanski, asked him to throw the ball 28 times, which is more than he has thrown in the past 3 games, not combined, but each game I think he's only completed attempted 23 passes tops over the past 3 games, and he has 28 in the first half of this game, and with great success. He was on pace for at one point over 50 attempts, 400 yards, and as you alluded to, things did kind of fall apart in the second half, but that was kind of the exact story of this game. In the first half, we came out red hot. Going into the second half, we get the big pick 6 turnover, Ronnie Harrison, and all of a sudden it's 27-10, and it's like, oh my God, we're gonna blow them out, and they run back the ensuing kickoff, which was a huge momentum shift, and then we get the ball back after that, and Baker starts throwing interceptions. Now the old Browns would have crumbled all the way into hell and ended up losing by 20 points.
Yeah.
But these Browns faced some significant adversity.
There it is.
Hello, words. The Browns faced some significant adversity in this game. We were able to get the lead, and anyone who's going to crap on Baker Mayfield for having a bad second half, like I get that happened, but the reason we were up in that game and the reason he was able to have a bad second half and we were able to still win was because he was so dominant in the first half. It's a 60-minute game. Obviously, I'm not happy he didn't do so well in the second half, but back to the adversity. All that happens. We're up 21-17. Baker throws the interception. They drive down the field, and now all of a sudden, this is where, like I said, this is where we typically fall apart. We have Jarvis Landry, who dropped a critical third down pass, had another drop on top of that. Baker throws 2 interceptions in the second half. I think he only completed a couple passes in the second half. Mm-hmm. We're still struggling to run the ball going into the fourth quarter. I think we only had 68 total rushing yards. We give up the return touchdown, all these different things, and yet who comes through in a big way? Myles Garrett forcing the safety. Who comes through at the end of the game? Dearness Johnson with a big run. Who throws a big block on that? Higgy. So
and Hubbard with the lead block from the offensive line, yeah.
Hubbard coming in for Wyatt Teller. We'll get into some of the injuries here in a second, but just a true team win where
all around.
No one had any doubt for a second. And I'll tell you what, the Browns are even starting to change me because, granted, when they ran back the kick and the interceptions happened, all the flashbacks of the past 20 years are running through
Browns
my head.
PTSD.
Yes, but at the same time, I still felt good.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't know, man.
There's confidence in this team, I think, even from the outside looking in. And something I want to credit Stefanski as well, not just his game plan, but something I see in Odell Beckham Jr., him having fun, man.
Yep, big time.
Him having fun. It's been huge. It's been a big difference from what we saw last year with Freddie, and allowing him to be utilized. Giving him the ball in opportune moments and in all kinds of different ways, whether it's through the passing game, the running game, and even himself getting to do some trickery with getting to pass the ball for that pass to the tight end Hooper
made a great pass. Yeah, and this is a game where we saw OBJ targeted early and often, and he made some incredible catches. He was targeted 9 times in the game. Landry was targeted 9 times in the game, and then Hooper was targeted 10 times in the game as well. That's kind of the offensive game plan that we more so imagined going into the season, that those guys would all be receiving those number of targets. But aside from them, we also targeted Rashard Higgins 3 times, who, by the way, had 3 catches, 31 yards and a touchdown, and the big block at the end. He came up huge. Kareem Hunt had 4 targets, 3 catches, 1 going for a touchdown, and then Njoku, Dearness Johnson, and Harrison Bryant all got a target as well. So despite the heavy target share going towards OBJ, Landry, Hooper, we were still able to get everyone else involved as well, and that came with having a heavier pass offense in this game. And I don't think the Colts were expecting that. I think that, and what's great too is since we put that on tape, it makes it that much harder for other teams to prepare for us, because you can't sit there and go, well, the Browns are going to come out and just try to run it. No, we can pass it.
We're going to sling the ball a little bit if we have to, sure.
We're going to run bootlegs. We're going to do all of that.
Well, we're showing exactly what I mentioned earlier is offensively, our coach is able to adapt the game plan to who we're facing, which is, we finally have a smart, competent coaching staff, it feels like, that they make the right decision based on who we're facing and not who we have on the roster. So obviously, I'm saying that because we lose Nick Chubb, and they're able to adapt and kind of base our offense on the passing game to build that running game late in the game and run the clock down. And then, your what you were saying about Baker Mayfield is fair. I know some people were upset with his performance in the second half. I also think he was a little bit hobbled with that rib, and we will talk about those injuries. But that might have affected him. You don't know. The fact that he was still out there managing the game effectively is a big deal, I think, and showing maturity to say that I know I've made mistakes out there, and I'm going to watch the film and get better from this. That's huge on a game that we won. So he's not showing off the victory. He's taking it as a step to learn.
Oh yeah, Baker Mayfield's night and day. Mm-hmm. After the game, he said this was the worst game he's ever played.
Yeah, well, yeah, he said that. Yeah,
in a win. And yeah, the second half was bad. And if you look at there's things floating around Twitter today from Pro Football Focus where or maybe it wasn't Pro Football Focus, whatever, the whole QBR rating, not quarterback rating, but QBR thing. Baker Mayfield his QBR on a scale of 100 is like 7 in the fourth quarter this year. So obviously that's a problem. We've been able to cover that up with substantial leads. We've been able to cover that up through good play leading up to that point. And a lot of it's come in the first half. We've been insane in the first half if you look at opening drives, over the last 2 games, the Browns have scored on 9 of their 10 drives in the first half. 6 touchdowns, 3 field goals. That kind of production is unheard of in typical Browns fashion. So we've been a killer first half team, and I think we've been a resourceful second half team.
And credit to you, I think, for mentioning this a few episodes ago, and also credit to our defense, because they really don't. They're a bend but don't break defense. You nailed it on the head a few episodes ago, because they did allow some chunk plays early. They had some misses early in the game that allowed to keep the game closer than it really should have been. And then near the end of the game, even missing, Ogunjobi, missing, I know Richardson went down for a little bit there. Myles Garrett went down for a little bit late in the game where he was out kind of in those final drives. The defense still held their own and still kept it together. So, yeah, in the face of adversity, this Browns team is able to overcome.
Yeah, and we're winning in different ways, and that's what you have to do in the NFL. The defense only allowed... what was the final score of the game? 23 they had. So the defense, if you take away the special teams touchdown, the defense only allowed 16 points, and they were able to score 9 points through the pick 6 and the safety. So defense did a phenomenal job. If you take away the turnovers and the safety, we don't win this game. So it was as Stefanski's been saying, like a broken record, complimentary football. That's what this comes down to. And anyone who's like complaining, first of all, shut up. We're 4-1 for the first time since 1994. The last time we were 4-1, we had Bill Belichick as our head coach and Nick Saban as our defensive coordinator. We've come a long way. And in that season, we finished 11-5. I think that was the year we actually beat the Patriots in the playoffs that year. That was the last time we had a playoff victory. So it's been a long time, 25 years. But anyone who's complaining, I say this all the time, but it's like, I feel like you don't watch other games. Because if you look at the Steelers, for example, they're 4-0. They haven't faced any kind of significant competition, unless you want to count the Texans as being a talented team who's just losing all their games. But they haven't faced any significant competition, and they have not looked particularly great throughout these games. They've made mistakes. They've had to rough some out, and most of their games have been close. That's just the nature of the NFL. That's what it is. The good teams are the ones that are able to overcome adversity and make big plays when it matters. And what does Myles Garrett do? Every game, make a big play when it matters. His sacks aren't in garbage time. His sacks aren't just in the first quarter when it doesn't matter.
Before we get deeper
plays
into the stats, I do want to touch on the injuries. We've mentioned it twice and we didn't get into it. Big news really is Greedy Williams being placed on IR. Finally, kind of feels like he should have been placed there a few weeks ago.
Well, it was hard to gauge it. It turns out he's got some nerve issue in his shoulder. And nerve issues, those are unpredictable and a nightmare, because you have a bad nerve in your shoulder that's going to shoot through your whole body and make everything difficult.
Sure. So they were talking about being smart about it. So I think it obviously must have made the most sense to finally put him on IR and just let him wait it out. Who knows how long he'll be out for. Baker getting x-rayed for the rib injury. Like we mentioned, we don't know if that hobbled him late in the game. When he was asked if it would affect him or his playing time against the Steelers next week, he went to his, he's used this once before, or at least a few times already, maybe. Mama didn't race, no it was.
That's right, baby. That's right.
So if he wants to play, but Kevin Stefanski said they'll be smart about it, so... Up in the air.
Everything Stefanski does is smart.
Sure.
I'm just saying. Like, has he done? Names one thing Stefanski's done that was dumb.
You could argue maybe he tried to turn over the fourth down with the fake punt week 1 against the Ravens.
That was probably dumb.
But it was, due to one missed block. We talked about it, I think, after the game. Just said,
we had 2 guys to block one guy.
Yeah.
And they both blew it.
Right. So
the special teams has not been great. Well, it is what it is. Continue.
Well, our punter is being underutilized, but he's been great. And
no, the punter and kicker are doing great. I mean like
special teams,
the coverage and the blocking, like kickoff coverage,
somewhat struggling, the last few games. But and then so Baker, I guess, still up in the air, but we haven't heard much besides him saying, of course I'm going to play, and then Stefanski saying, we know Baker's tough, but we'll be smart about it. And then the big one is we don't know about Wyatt Teller. We know he was out during the first quarter, kind of limped off the field. Had Chris Hubbard fill in nicely at the right guard position, but we haven't heard anything about a status for him going into the Steelers or anything like that.
Yeah, Stefanski said Wyatt Teller would be more week to week than day to day. So we'll see what happens. I don't even know what that means, but
Yeah, seriously.
it sucks because Wyatt Teller has been like the feel-good story of this offense.
He was like 10th in the MVP race, wasn't he?
Yeah, according to one thing on NFL.com, they put him at 10. They had Myles Garrett at 4 and Wyatt Teller at 10. And the writer even said, he's like, I know he's not going to win, but he's just been insane. And we talked about it before. He was the highest-rated guard through 4 games by Pro Football Focus ever.
Since the metrics, had been.
So that's incredible. So it sucks to see him go. But Chris Hubbard did fill in admirably. He's had to come in at right tackle now and come in at right guard now. And what we're seeing with Chris Hubbard, we touched on this previously, he's not someone you want starting every game, but he's someone who can come in and play admirably when someone goes down.
That's what he did for the Steelers.
Yeah,
that's what he did for the Steelers.
That's what he's supposed to do.
That's why he got the contract with the Browns in the first place. We thought he could fill in at right tackle, but he's built to just be that fill-in guy. Who knows? Anyways, you talked about Myles Garrett, so I think it's important that we just go right into it with him. Man, he's a game changer, dude.
He's insane.
He's been a game changer since week 2, really. I mean, according to him, since week 3, but really, I mean, he's been phenomenal, man.
Well, and with that,
against one of the best offensive line in footballs, he made an impact almost every play.
Constantly.
Yeah.
Constantly.
He's the one that he's the one that causes the safety.
Big time.
He obviously got the sack.
They got a lot of balls trying to throw the ball in the end zone with Myles Garrett coming off the edge. And with that safety, that's now the 7th turnover that Myles Garrett has forced. We talked about this before. Last year, the league leader forced 6.
He's at 8, bro, because he pushed another player, which caused the disruption for one of the interceptions.
Did they count that?
I don't know because I didn't look at the next gen stats, but I bet you that.
I read 7.
Did you look at the next gen stats then?
I read.
Oh, okay.
I read 7, but yeah, I agree that you could have made a case for that one as well. But even so, even if that one doesn't count, that's another situation where Phillip Rivers has to run forward in the pocket and launch a ball that gets intercepted because Myles Garrett's flying around the edge and he has no trouble. Myles Garrett is impacting games like we always wanted him to, and it hasn't been fair for the opposing defense. He can beat you with the power moves, with the stabs, with the spins, with everything you can imagine. And I'm glad he's on our team because facing him seems like it'd be a big pain in the ass. And really, he's the Aaron Donald of the AFC. I would argue it's between him and Donald for the Defensive Player of the Year. Aaron Donald had 4 sacks over the weekend, so that gives him an edge because now he's at like 7 for the season. But Myles Garrett's sitting there at 6 through 5 games. So I think it continues.
I thought when they started when they started the game, the announcer said he was tied for sacks, so maybe they didn't count.
They weren't counting from Aaron Donald, yeah, because he had 3.5 going into that game, then he got 4 in the game, so he's at like 7.5 now, and then Myles Garrett's at 6.
Yeah, he's at 7.5. Myles Garrett at 6, and then I'm trying to find the next gen stats because I feel like what I was reading here was that he caused the safety, and he pushed his man into Rivers where safety Sheldrick Redwine then captured the interception. So, I mean, either way, he's been phenomenal. It's insane. He's made an impact every time he's on the field. I mean, this is some of the things we talked about regarding Myles Garrett and what people were expecting of him, and seeing performances like TJ Watt at the Steelers and Bosa with the 49ers.
Either of the Bosas.
Well, yeah, fair, but yeah. I would just say, the fact that they almost seem like they impacted every single play defensively and
just wrecked your offense.
Myles Garrett, I mean, we've been super huge Myles Garrett fans. Obviously, Myles Garrett sacks is huge for Kennel Quick Predicts. We have every single one except after his suspension, but he's proven it. He's reached another level this season.
Oh, dude, he's playing like the best defensive player in the league.
Yeah.
He's completely justifying the giant contract we gave him. And when he got that contract, we said, okay, well, if you're going to be the highest paid defensive player, you need to make game-changing plays. And in all 4 of our wins, you can point directly to at least 1, sometimes 2, sometimes 3 game-changing plays made by Myles Garrett.
Yeah, I mean, the strip sacks, he had a sack and 4 quarterback hits. We're talking about the safety. We're talking about the potential interception that he caught, that he was partly responsible for, that Sheldrick Redwine. By the way, Sheldrick Redwine, 1 play, interception.
Done.
Fair. Got to mention it.
No, the defense was nice. I remember, I don't know what it ended up with at the end of the game, but at one point during the game, Phillip Rivers had 15 dropbacks, and he was hurried on 12 of them. I've never seen a stat like that, and this is against a great offensive line, and we're able to get pressure
so far this season.
We're able to get pressure like that. That's next level. Let's get into the offense a little with some stats. I want to start with Kareem Hunt. He had to have a bigger role in this game. He was hobbled by the groin injury, but he was able to get 20 carries in this game for 72 yards to go at the 3 catches for 21 yards and a touchdown. And, I love Kareem Hunt. I think he played well. He didn't have a lot of room to run. I didn't see him breaking tackles like we usually see from him. Maybe the groin had something to do with that. Maybe it's because the Colts are a really good tackling team. A lot of factors there. But I'll be honest, it made me miss Nick Chubb because I feel like Kareem Hunt's great. We've talked about this, but having Nick Chubb in there would have helped a lot. But credit to the offense for adjusting. Credit to Dearness Johnson for making a big play at the end and coming in relief, being a good blocker, doing everything he had to do. And overall, I think it's nice to know that in a game where the rushing offense struggles, we're still able to get the victory. We're still able to move the ball like crazy in the first half. There's a lot of good things there that we can hang our hats on.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, some notes. I mean, defensively, I want to kind of call out Andrew Sendejo. He's been rough.
Yeah, he's not been good. The Browns fans have been really mean about it, for sure.
Well, it's his fault. A lot of the times the defense breaks down, honestly, or a lot of the times that we get any sort of chunk plays on us. It's due to him missing, either just not being there on the coverage, not being on his man, reading something incorrectly, just missing a tackle. It's been rough.
Yeah,
he's had, he's like one or two. He's inconsistent. Is really the truth.
He's pretty bad. The problem is with Andrew Sendejo is there's 64 starting safeties in the NFL, and according to Pro Football Focus, he's ranked 75th.
Sure. But so
in all fairness, he was not supposed to be a starter. He was supposed to be a rotational guy. So now we have this backup safety thrusted into a big role. But it was nice to see Ronnie Harrison get in there. It was nice to see Redwine. He ended up playing, I think it was 19 plays total in the game, and ended up being really highly rated by Pro Football Focus.
Redwine?
As a result, yeah.
Oh.
So he was awesome. And that's big. I want to go right back to the offense real quick just to run through these guys. If you look at what the receivers were able to do, how about Higgins in this game? That's big time. Needed that. Jarvis and Odell both getting 9 targets. Jarvis coming through huge in the first half with some big catches. But he also had some painful drops on third down, which I'm not even going to stress on because, as I always say, Jarvis Landry is the best receiver at catching the football with his hands that the Browns have ever had. So I'm going to give him some mulligans. He even said that shit's eating him alive. I believe that 1,000%. And those were big momentum killers in the second half. But then again, this goes back to the team football where we're able to overcome those things. Baker Mayfield was really bad in the second half. He ends up 21 of 37 for 247 yards, 2 touchdowns in the first half, and then he has those 2 interceptions in the second half. And they were both pretty ugly interceptions. But I'll tell you what about Baker Mayfield, that's my quarterback. I believe in him 1,000%. He's only going to keep getting better. Really, with that being our 5th game, that was like our season opener because we had no preseason. So we got our 4 games under our belt with the new system. And it's gone phenomenally, obviously 4-1. And then coming out this game against the number 1 defense in the NFL, number 1 pass defense, I mean, you're going to have those struggles. They made halftime adjustments. I think Stefanski's going to learn a lot from it. And they even asked Stefanski, they're like, what's different? Is anything different about a victory Monday? And he said, nope, we're going to get right to work. And he even said, too, he's like, we still have a lot to improve on, a lot to learn, but it's better doing that after a win than it is after a loss. But we have our work cut out for us. I love that attitude. I love it. It's the perfect attitude that this team needs.
Yeah, Kevin Stefanski, all credit for sure. He's a great coach. I'm glad he's finally here, man. Finally here. Could have had him.
Coulda, woulda. But that's okay. Everything happens for a reason. I have no regrets. And then if you look at the offensive line, even losing Wyatt Teller, which it's so crazy saying that 5 games in, like, had I told you before the season, like, oh man, Wyatt Teller went out, that was scary, I'd be like, why? Who cares? Like, but he's been so good. But Hubbard, as we talked about, was able to step in nicely. And all pregame, they're talking about DeForest Bruckner. I'm doing a bad job with his name. The awesome defensive lineman that they have.
Their defensive tackler.
And he was virtually, I forgot about him.
He only had 1 QB hit, 4 tackles.
I forgot about him in this game.
Joel Bitonio was mostly on him. so no surprise there.
Joel's nice.
Yeah.
Joel's nice. You haven't heard much from Joel Petonio and J.C. Treader this year, which you know what that means.
They're doing a good job.
They're doing a great job. There was one where our rookie got beat.
Jedrick Wills, Chris Hubbard got beat a few times.
But you're going to have that. It is what it is. You're going to have that. But I thought the Colts defense was impressive, their ability to tackle. We didn't have, like I was saying earlier, Kareem Hunt wasn't able to bust a lot of stuff off. So their tackling at the second level sure was really nice. But story of this game, man, the defense, the offense in the first half, the defense in the second half. And they picked each other up when they needed to, and we put together a complete game. We faced legitimate adversity. Man, I'm still really struggling with that word.
It's all right.
That's okay.
I struggle with names. You struggle with the words.
Hey, well, yeah, it's probably bad to struggle with words when you have a podcast, but we'll get through.
People have stuck around this long.
Yeah, well, you guys might need to see a doctor or a therapist.
Okay.
I don't know. No, you guys are great. Big fan. But yeah, overall, I mean, this game was insane. I had a fantastic time watching it. I hate playing at 4:25 because I'm like losing my mind waiting for the game to start, but I'll take it.
You mentioned the special teams, and I know you kind of fixed that and said mostly just the special teams coverage was.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
But I wanted to give props to a special teamer, kicker Cody Parkey. He's been killing it, man. I think it's a big deal to point out that the 9 points he scored on the field ended up being the exact margin of victory.
Yep.
So.
And he had the classic Phil Dawson style field goal off the upright. I remember Phil Dawson had like a bunch of those back in the day. It was so awesome.
Well, also Cody Parkey is known for, he missed, when he was with the Bears, he missed a bunch of field goals due to the doink. Mm-hmm. And then he actually coined the double doink where he kicked the field goal, it doinked into the one upright, doinked into the other one, and then didn't make it through.
Oh.
So.
That hurts.
So it was nice to see a doink that ended up with a field goal made for Cody Parkey, kind of exercising those demons.
I think one time Phil Dawson had one that went off the upright and then bounced off like the arm that holds up the goalpost and then came back out. And it was like a whole thing. Like, well, it went through before it came out. That shit was nuts.
That would have counted, right?
Oh, it counted. Okay, that's right. But in true Browns fashion, it could have easily not counted.
Sure, you never know
for some made up reason.
Just like the almost fumble at the beginning of the game, with first play of the game.
Oh, that was insane.
Yeah, I was like, they're gonna give it to them, man. It's gonna be a fumble. It's gonna be a nightmare.
The fact that they didn't, though, there's been all these little moments, and I don't want to jinx it, but there's been all these little moments throughout all these games where, in typical Browns fashion, they would just wildly go against us, but they haven't.
That just comes down to consistency.
If
we're consistently bad, if we're consistently committing penalties, there's a higher chance that the ref is more willing to throw that flag or to accept that challenge or deny our challenge.
Or go back in time and change a play. Yeah.
What has happened.
That literally happened.
Yeah.
That's why we don't get to have glass bottles to drink in the fourth quarter anymore.
That's right.
Son of a bitch. I was thinking, if I bought the Browns, I would make it 21 and up, and you'd have to sign a waiver on your way in. That's what I would do.
Good luck.
Well,
the NFL would not allow you to do that, more than likely.
Well, if I had, billions and billions of dollars, I would tell them to shove it.
Yeah, they wouldn't let you.
I don't care. I'd hire assassins to get my way. I'm living in a hypothetical world here. If I get billions to buy the Browns, I'll figure. If I'm able to figure that out, I'll figure out a way to make the stadium rowdy again, like it was in the '80s.
Fair point. Probably not the way Yeah.
Don't rain on my parade.
I won't.
Okay, thank you.
I'll keep it to myself.
I appreciate that. Thank you. Sometimes you just gotta let it go.
Letting it go.
Okay, cool. Appreciate that. Back in my fantasy world, it's glorious in there.
Anyways,
anything else you want to touch on this game?
I think we touched it all, man. Anyways, no, I mean, I like to see it, man. It's finally fun to watch the Browns. I can't believe we're 4-1, unheard of in my lifetime. I can't believe it. It doesn't seem like a reality I've lived. I shared a funny meme with some friends and possibly you as well, which, since you're like...
I like to think I'm a friend. And
yeah, but I mean, it makes the most sense for me to share any Browns-related memes with you. So probably, probably you, if anyone. But
shared it with my friends as in me.
Some other friends. Yeah, shared it with my friends as in just with you. No. So this meme of like last year's, a guy just like drinking a beer, watching the game, and he's sitting on his couch, and he's like, man, it was a webcomic, and he's like, Man. Yeah, he's like, man, we suck. This team will never be good unless the world is ending. And then it flashes forward to now. and it's like the Browns are 3-1 now, 4-1, and then he's like starts sweating, looks outside. There's like
it's like fires and
fire,
global
coronavirus. It's a nightmare. The world is ending, and he's like,
that would be our luck. That would be our luck.
Yeah.
I will be kind of pissed if there's still all the stadium restrictions and we are. Imagine if we're able to get a home playoff game. Like, I don't care what the rules are. We got to get 64,000 people into there because there will be nothing like it.
Well, I mean, they already kind of upped the amount of people, so hopefully.
Yeah, they doubled it. It's got to double it again. That's 24,000. And then double it again, and we're there. Boom, we're at capacity.
There you go.
A few more games to go. Which, by the way, we're 3-0 at home.
And we're 4-1
at home. 3-0. 1-1 on the road.
Got to protect your home, baby.
Man, next week is the Steelers. You guys got to tune in for the pregame episode because we're going to be fired up. That's a huge game. 4-1 Browns going into 4-0 Pittsburgh.
A divisional opponent that actually matters. Well, they all matter, but the Bengals suck.
Yeah, and the Ravens.
Bengals are horrible.
Ravens kind of beat our ass.
Yeah, so we don't talk about that.
Yeah,
but there's an opportunity for us to get redemption.
Oh, big time. We have to play them again.
And we have to get redemption.
Yep, and it'll be in Cleveland, which will be
that
helpful.
Would be huge.
Yep. Going to Pittsburgh, though, it's going to be sick. Anyways, final thoughts on the game. I am just kind of like really happy. Like, I don't even really know what to say about it. It's completely unbelievable. And it's gotten me fired up to be more active on Twitter. So at Football Kennel on Twitter, if you want to get into the games, I've been actually tweeting stuff out. I was going crazy during the game, drinking with my buddy.
Yes, he was.
It was a great time. And overall, I'm I don't know. I couldn't be happier. And I know there's some hate on Baker and blah blah blah, but that's my quarterback, man. I'll ride and die with this guy. Look how good looking he is.
Look at that beard.
Look how beautiful that man is.
Look at those eyes. Look at that smile.
It actually really looks nothing like Baker Mayfield, but he's beautiful.
Kind of looks like him.
It's like a
cartoonish version.
Well, it's like a character when they like draw you at the zoo.
Yeah, literally.
That's what it looks like.
Yep, where they make your face all like disproportionate and stuff.
Yeah. So he's doing great. He'll be great though. His mindset is right. Kevin Stefanski. Are you sold on Kevin Stefanski?
Oh yeah.
You ready to defend him to the death?
I would take a bullet for the man.
Yeah. If he loses the rest of his games, you'll defend him to the death throughout
Things
every game.
Things might change, I think.
Oh no, I'm fully committed. I'm fully torqued.
I mean, I just don't think there's no way with this talent that should be happening. So if it does, something went wrong, and that's a problem.
That's right, and he'll fix it.
Maybe.
No, he's great. Yeah, I'm fully torqued on Kevin Stefanski.
I'm just keeping it real.
I'm all the way in.
Always.
I've slid all the way in.
But I've learned to be a little more real with the Browns.
That's fair, not me.
That's fair.
I'm a broken man.
And that's why people follow us and enjoy us. There's a nice balance there.
There you go. All right, well, let's do our hashtag Kennel Quick Predict results.
Let's do it.
Quick Predicts.
All right. To go over the rules again, or no? Price is Right rules. You all know Price is Right. If you go over, yeah, but sometimes we break the rules.
Because there really are no rules.
And then it's me and Stevie.
It's not really Price is Right rules. It's not really Price is Right rules. It's more Price is Right guidelines.
There you go. I like that. And then obviously Stevie and I go against each other. Stevie go. Me and Stevie go against each other.
Just short circuit?
And a little bit, yeah. And then you guys go against each other, and then we announce the winner of the imaginary points. Who gets the most points, all the points. For Twitter participants, we had quite a few this week.
Yeah, rip through them.
Heck yeah. KCK at Casey Kitteman, the winner of last week, as well as the week before that. Burger Man at Parker Schaefer, our friend Parker. Mike VH, our friend Mike Euler at Mikey Shreds. Drunk Dad at Drunk Dad 2.
Nice.
And
who's Drunk Dad 1? That's the real question.
Yeah,
we got to get him on.
Good point. And Dan Berger at the _land 1. And then on YouTube we had Brian Evansick.
Doing great. That's a quality lineup of participants.
A lot of great guys to follow on social media,
Parker,
Twitter or YouTube.
Parker, you should probably get a Parky jersey. That seems incredibly appropriate. And he's hitting field goals.
Oh, Cody Parkey? Yeah.
It seems incredibly appropriate. Something to consider. Anyways, let's get into it. First one, Myles Garrett sacks.
The most important one.
You and I nailed it. We both said 1, and he had 1.
So, points.
Points for us.
Points for you and me.
Game. And
Lots
then
of points.
From the participants, we had Mikey Shreds. Mikey Shreds guessed 1 as well. Everyone else was over, so you guys are all losers. So points for Mike.
Points for Mike. Points for you and me. Points.
Killing the game. So who's going to win the turnover battle? The Browns have been dominating this for a while, and you and I both went with the Browns, but in this game, it was actually
an even tie with 2 interceptions each.
Wait a second. But a safety counts as a turnover.
I don't know. I went by the ESPN stats, and it didn't include the safety as a counted turnover when you look at team turnovers.
We all know ESPN is fake news. Let's verify this quickly.
Yeah, I don't know. It doesn't include the safety here as a turnover, but you may be right.
Of course, on the game thing, like it's just like not obvious where it is. Now we're scrambling. Oh my god. Oh my god, I'm panicking.
So I'm gonna go to NFL.com. I don't know where else to look at it.
Penalties. By the way, we had 2 penalties in this game. Very impressive. Oh man, I don't know. It doesn't say anywhere. NFL is
How does it not?
Is a safety a turnover? Safety is the team, blah, 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 but a turnover does not take place at any point in a safety. A drive ends with either a turnover or a score. What does that even mean?
Let's just go with no. Based on let's just go with the ESPN facts.
All right,
stats.
Fuck it.
If we would find, if it was easier to find, if it was just like, oh, it's here, yes, it's a turnover, then
it'd be a little more obvious.
Well, yeah, I'm just going by literally. It said turnovers, and it's just saying 2 for each.
That's, that would be kind of a giveaway.
That's all. So I don't.
Yeah, Pro Football Reference, they're usually pretty great.
Yeah, one last one. Why not?
One last shot. Turnovers.
Team
The
stats,
suspense is killing me.
Turnovers 2-2. Yep.
All right, so you just learned something. A safety is not a turnover, which is weird.
I guess based on whatever standards these two arbitrary websites are using.
No points for anyone because no one guessed a tie. But
no one guessed a tie.
You know who did guess a tie? 2 different beat reporters for Cleveland.com predicted this game would end in a tie. One of them said 25-25. So I looked it up. No football game has ever ended in a 25-25 tie. It would have been complete scoregami. These people get paid. That's not fair. What the hell? Cleveland.com. I'll give you some predictions.
They were trying to just go with arbitrary things because they got trolled so hard from guessing a loss for the last week.
Dude, if you're going to cover the Browns, you're going to have to grow up and have some thick skin and get over it. Like, who's the one guy who always sucks, Darryl Ryder?
Yeah.
He's like always crying on Twitter about how Browns fans are so mean. It's like, dude, you are just asking for it. You're just asking for it. Like, get over it. Have some fun with it, bro.
Yeah, he always cries.
Jeez.
Yeah, it's annoying. But, I mean, I get it. But at the same time, shut up.
I get it.
Because we're already depressed enough.
I get it if you're like...
Not anymore.
If you're like
4-1.
If you're like a normal person tweeting about the Browns from your day job... and like people are shitting all over you, that's a little outrageous.
Just don't be a loser.
But if you're literally a Browns beat reporter and you're like crying about when you say mean things about the Browns and then the fan base gets mad at you, well, sucks to suck, bro.
Well,
sucks
whatever.
to suck.
Fake news.
Anyways, moving on.
We spent too much time. We're like, let's do this quickly. Anyways, let's talk for 30 minutes. Baker Mayfield and the next one is Baker Mayfield interceptions. You went with a perfect game, a fat goose egg. I went with 1, and it was actually 2. So Price is Right guidelines. I get the points between you and me. And then from the participants, we got Parker, our buddy Parker, Burger Man, with 2. He nailed it right on the head. 2 interceptions for Baker, points for me, and points for Burger Man.
That's right. And then going into Browns' total rushing yards, despite struggling to run the ball in this game, we did end with 124 rushing yards, which is nice. But with that being said, no one was even close to that. The lowest guess was 172, which is still way over, so nobody gets any points.
No points there, unfortunately, yeah.
Terrible job.
It's kind of a weird quick predicts.
A little weird. Then we go into Rashard Higgins, 1 snap, over or under. I said under. I didn't think he was going to play. You said even.
So I said he would have 1 snap.
1 snap for 1 touchdown.
Yeah.
That was your bold prediction.
Yeah.
He did get a touchdown.
He did.
But he had several more than 1 snaps, which is great.
Yeah, good for him, for sure.
Everyone else said under. 2 overs. So Dan Berger and Brian Evansick, you guys get some points.
Points for Dan Berger and Brian Evansick.
I'm surprised there was only 2 of you guys. And then going into the final score... I'm really proud of myself on this one. The final score was 32-23. I predicted 31-24. I was 1 point off in each category. I know I keep touching the table. I'm sorry, Mr. Audio Guy.
It's okay. I just... But anyways.
31-24, which means... Really, I was about even because if you give the point to the Browns, take the points from the Colts. I'm exactly there. So, with total points, I was spot on. I nailed it. And all the points for me. I think I get bonus points for that, too.
You just get points, regular points, and then we both get bonus points for the win. That's how the rules always work. And then on to the participants, the closest one. I mean, you guys were all pretty close.
Yeah.
But we had to give it to KCK for being the closest, I guess, out of everybody. Browns 31, Colts 26 was his prediction.
Dude, yeah, Cleveland.com with their beat writers and predictions. You got Cleveland.com, you don't even need them. All you need is us
hashtag Kennel Quick Predicts and our participants.
That's all you need.
So, I mean, points for KCK and points for you, but points for everyone for predicting the win. Browns win.
Just getting covered in
4-1
points. Let's go to Vegas with all these points. So,
in the matchup, you versus me, we had a tie with the 2 points, and then the point each of us each of us get an extra point for the Browns win, so 3 points each. And then we had a 5-way tie with the participants.
Oh, wow.
Dan Berger, KCK Burger Man, and Brian Evansick, and Mike Euler, all tied with 1 point plus the Browns win point, so 2 points each.
So everyone was in it except for Drunk Dad.
I guess so.
Well.
Sorry, Drunk Dad.
Sorry, Drunk Dad.
Better luck next time.
At Drunk Dad 2.
It was a weird, what a weird quick predicts. Just everyone tied except for Drunk Dad. He got a little too drunk, and then me and you tied.
And we did better than all of our listeners. That's why we're the hosts.
We did, yeah.
Wow.
That's why you trust us as your Browns news source.
Without us, you would
I refer to us as an alternative Browns news source.
Wow.
Yeah.
Alt Browns.
Alternative Browns.
Interesting.
Like a rock band.
We're like alternative rock, but alternative Browns.
Alternative Browns.
Alternative Browns.
Anyways, don't forget to participate in Quick Predicts by using the hashtag Kennel Quick Predicts. It helps me find them and also spreads the word a little bit.
Yeah, please use the hashtag. A couple of you guys didn't. You just replied to things and you made it a little difficult. Luckily, we don't have too many participants, so we were able to track you down. But when we have hundreds, that's going to make it tough.
It's going to make it real hard, so please help us out. But anyways, thank you for everybody that has participated up to this point, and don't forget to follow us on Twitter at Football Kennel, and then on other social medias. On YouTube, we're just The Kennel.
That's right.
But I've found it is easier to find us if you type on the search bar The Kennel Football.
Or The Kennel Browns.
Or even Football Kennel.
Or maybe Browns Podcast. I haven't tried that.
I haven't tried that either.
But yeah, make sure you subscribe on YouTube. We almost have 1 million followers. So.
And once we get that, we get the gold.
Yep. We'll put it right here.
Platinum YouTube
Put
thing.
it right here.
We'll hang it up for you guys to see.
Our 1,000,000th follower will gift you a Browns helmet, autographed Browns helmet.
Well, he committed to it, so now we have to do it.
So you better get on there. It's any day now.
Any day now it'll get there to 1 million.
I like to think that people who want to listen to the podcast are like, holy shit, for real? They're about to hit 1 million?
They're like, wow, you guys got on YouTube just recently. Good job.
Yeah, you're killing it.
I knew you guys were good. I love you guys.
No, we got like 100, but we're working on it.
Oh, don't tell them, dude.
Shit, we have 1 million. We have 999,000 something.
So, anyways, the Browns are 4-1. Say it when you go to bed. Say it when you wake up in the morning. Say it when you listen to us.
I can imagine that waking up like 4-1 Cleveland.
When you start your work day, when you have a fight with your significant other.
It was one of the first things I thought about this morning.
Just close your eyes. Browns are 4-1.
That's right.
Browns are 4-1.
Don't forget it. And make sure you tune in probably Thursday, potentially Friday.
Browns are 4-1.
For our pregame episode. It's officially Steelers week.
And the Browns are 4-1.
And the Browns are 4-1. The Steelers are 4-0.
Browns are 4-1.
Speaking of the Steelers, with Baker Mayfield's win at home, he is now the most winningest active quarterback at Cleveland Browns Stadium, passing Ben Roethlisberger.
Really? Wow,
it
good
hurts,
for Baker.
Yeah, it hurts. So let's keep kicking Big Ben's ass. It's time.
Yeah, we need to beat him for sure. Is this at Steelers or at?
Yep, in Pittsburgh.
Okay.
So it's officially Steelers work. We're going to Pittsburgh. The Browns are 4-1. Thanks for listening or watching the Kennel Cleveland Football Podcast. Go Browns.
Go Browns.